this very special episode of The Focal Length on NewsX World. I'm Pia and I'm being joined by a very, very special guest. Yes, with me is Mr. Milton Dick. He's the Speaker of the House of Representatives of Australia. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. We're at the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union in Geneva. There are over 183 countries present over here, 15 associate members as well. How do you think this organization promotes democracy, and what, in your opinion, is the future of democracy in the world?
Well, democracy is under pressure across the world, and organisations like the IPU are critical to make sure like-minded countries can work together through parliamentary diplomacy. And the IPU is the oldest democracy organisation in the world, and Australia has had a long and rich history within the IPU. Next year we celebrate 80 years of continuous involvement, and in fact in 1913 Australia ensured there was a financial contribution right from the beginning, about a decade after we became a federation. So ensuring that organisations like this have particularly members of the Pacific family, where I live and I represent, alongside our great friends India, we need to make sure that we work closely together in countries, no matter how big or small, to protect democracy, because we serve democracy.
Absolutely. And a quick follow-up, this year's theme is promoting human rights as well. We're seeing over 120 global conflicts at the moment. 310 million people are suffering. What, in your opinion, is needed for the world to right now galvanize action as far as furthering human rights is concerned?
Well, Australia was one of the signatories to the Human Rights Declaration of the United Nations in 1948. And we're very proud of our strong support for humanitarian law, but also the rights for people across our region, the Indo-Pacific, but also right across the world. So there are challenges. One of the issues I have been focused on this Assembly is to brief delegates from around the world about the new declaration that has been signed regarding the protection of humanitarian workers. Now, this was a very important declaration which over 100 countries have now signed, and this was announced on the 22nd of September on the eve of the high-level meetings in New York. And our Foreign Minister, our Prime Minister, and I pay credit to particularly our Foreign Minister, who in 2024 recognised a Australian-led ministerial council was the way to look at this issue, because when there is humanitarian conflicts, it's often the humanitarian aid workers that are caught in that conflict. You know, sadly, Australia did lose a humanitarian worker in the Gaza conflict, and I spoke about the work that she was doing and honouring the work that our humanitarian aid workers do, not just from Australia, but right throughout the globe. So focusing on the conflicts, but also focusing on the humanitarian aid workers that put themselves on the line. They are the frontline workers, our nurses, our doctors, our medical experts, and all of the volunteer work that happens in humanitarian aid. We must never forget the human face of those workers as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of the IPU, how's it been here the last couple of days? How's your experience been personally?
Well, I am very privileged to be a member of the Executive Committee. I think the first Australian in about 30 years to serve on the IPU. And I, of course, come from the Pacific. I live in the Pacific, and Australia plays an important role in partnering with so many people in the Pacific which are under more and more stress, particularly on the issue of climate. And I know in our Indo-Pacific family, we work closely as well. So the IPU is a very exciting place to be. I'm always learning things when I'm here, and I'll be taking those learnings back to Australia. And I can't underscore how important it is. The work of the Interparliamentary Union Executive Committee, where Mrs. Sarangi, a member of the Lok Sabha, also serves alongside of me, and a representative from Indonesia. It's our job to make sure that Asia Pacific region, which is the home to so many people, and of course India being the largest democracy in the world, that we have a job to do to promote, support and respect democracy. And that to me is what the IPU is about, bringing people together at a parliamentary level Our governments always meet, which is a good thing, but our parliamentarians, I always say, the more we meet and the more we discuss ideas, the easier the world will be.
Indeed, better legislation as well, exchanging best practices as you've just put it together. But it's not just the problems of today that you're all looking at solving, it's also the problems of tomorrow. Technology has permeated all our lives. AI is now a global force as well. What sort of challenges do you see as a legislator when it comes to drafting frameworks or policies regarding artificial intelligence?
Well, I think there is a lot of good that can come out of artificial intelligence. Some of our birth rates around the world are dropping, so we've got to look at workforce shortages, and that's where AI can come in to assist. We're looking at a number of best practice models within the IPU, but also through our own Parliament experience as well, through the work of committees, through processing work. And we've also got to look at artificial intelligence through the issue of cost savings for parliaments as well. Obviously, with the parliamentarians being in charge of the legislative agenda, nothing will ever change that. But using AI to effectively lower costs, but also lower emissions. So one of the sustainability goals that I'm pushing within the IPU is for best practice. And our parliament in Australia is 100% fueled by green energy. We have cut emissions by simple things, by changing the light bulbs of 40,000 lights in our parliament in Australia. I spoke about that a moment ago in the Assembly. We have to practice what we preach, and we talk about a lot of sustainable goals. Well, our parliaments also have that role, and that's where artificial intelligence can also play a critical role to get value for money for the parliamentarians who we serve. This organisation represents around 44,000 parliamentarians around the globe. So we all have a responsibility to act locally, but think globally as well. You know that old saying. So I think artificial intelligence will play a critical role in moving forward. We obviously have to have the proper safeguards and guardrails around that, but that has been a hot topic of this Assembly, and I'm confident to say it will continue. And I've learned a lot from what other countries are doing about artificial intelligence, their legislative framework. So all of those things in your opening remarks, the world is divided like never before. I like to think the IPU, bringing people together from all walks of life, goes a little way to solving those conflicts as well. In fact, a long way.
Indeed, a quick follow-up on the AI question itself, because it is a double-edged sword. We're seeing there are a lot of concerns regarding deep fakes that are coming about as well. At the same time, people are talking about a digital divide between those who have access to the AI hardware and those who do not. How do you think then must the world navigate this? Because we can't completely shut out AI as well. It's here to stay.
We have to control it, and we have to have those guardrails and that legislative framework around it. I'm glad you mentioned the digital divide and what is happening with the relevance and rise of social media as well, and the whole issue around what is fake, what is real, foreign influence into election, all of those topics. One of the things I've been championing here from an Australian point of view is in 48 days in Australia, we will be banning social media for anyone under the age of 16. This is the first time in the world that this has happened. Our legislation is in place, and I've been briefing people about why we need to ensure and safeguard the images and also the information that young people in particular should be protected from. So that's been an exciting topic here, and that will be world leading. And I'm so proud of the fact that my home country, Australia, has led the globe in protecting young children as well. It hasn't been easy, and we've got a big job to do, but on the 10th of December, Australia will be banning social media for anyone under the age of 16. This is not about censorship or freedom of speech. This is about protecting children, and artificial intelligence is part of that conversation as well, for the images and messaging that people, particularly young people, are getting as well.
Indeed. Coming to the Australia-India equation, both countries enjoy very close ties. We're also seeing the bonhomie between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese as well. Where do you see this particular bilateral relationship headed to next? What particular sectors do you think are avenues that India and Australia can explore further down the lane?
Well, there's no question that Australia and India are getting closer and closer, and that is a good thing. We share a love of democracy. We are members of the Commonwealth. And I won't mention the cricket because that's always a sensitive topic. But as I say, cricket diplomacy is one way of bringing countries together. I had the privilege of one of the first delegations I ever led was to lead a delegation to India when I became the speaker. And I visited the southern parts of India, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I even went to a cricket game in Chennai, which was next level, which I loved. But obviously have visited India before as a parliamentarian, Hyderabad through Delhi and high-level meetings. The Prime Ministers are close, and I'm honoured to have met the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Speaker Om Birla, His Excellency, a number of times. And I feel very, very part of the Indian family whenever I am in India. I'm looking forward to visiting India next year because I was told by a number of my community members who come from India, I'm from the north, and they live in my constituency in Australia, that seeing is believing. And the transformation we're seeing with the Indian economy under the Prime Minister Modi, under the innovative reforms around technology, I think there's a lot Australia can learn. When I was in Bangalore and hearing about the space exploration and the amazing work that's happening in innovation and technology, it really opened my eyes to the opportunities between the countries. But parliamentary diplomacy is what it's all about from my point of view as a speaker. Our governments work together, but I'm also pleased to share with your listeners and the people of India that our strengthening relationship between our countries is getting stronger. And I think that's positive for diplomatic reasons, but also for trade and investment reasons. I know India is a great supporter of some of our produce, and likewise. And I always tell people at home, if you want a great holiday, go to India. You will not be surprised. My friend and colleague who helps me with some local Indian delicacies in spiced capsicum curry, amazing. She always says to me, you either love India or you love India. And I'm happy to say I fell in love with India, the sights, the sounds, the tastes, you name it. And India is a very multicultural country. From the north to the south, to the east to the west, different religions, beliefs, everything is different. And I can't speak highly enough about our relationship. And now just thinking about it, I'm looking forward to even going back. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Indeed, and to end it on a lighter note, because you're talking about India as such in your visits, what's your favorite Indian dish?
Oh, look, I like a very good spicy dal. I can't say no to the beautiful dal. I do like the northern food, the Punjabi food as well is delicious. I don't have a favorite because I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm willing to come and try cuisine from every state in India. If someone's got to do it, I'm up for that challenge.
All right, sir. Well, that, viewers, is Honourable Milton Dick, Speaker of the House of Representatives of Australia, out here in a very candid discussion with NewsX World on The Focal Length. That's all for now.